The plan to fix AI's power crunch is so bold it leaves Earth. Put the data centers in orbit. This video is about the push for space-based data centers and why it's suddenly showing up in places like The Verge and across blue sky. The point isn't whether one glossy startup can do it tomorrow. It's that AI has smashed into hard limits, power, land, and chips, and that pressure is forcing compute into extreme locations. We'll decode what's being proposed, what physics allows, and what it signals about who actually wins the next phase of AI. AI demand is rocketing while the grid stalls. Data center moratoriums, interconnect queues measured in years, and GPU clusters waiting on power more than on code. Companies that can lock gigawatts first get to train first. Everyone else is stuck optimizing prompts. That urgency is why ideas once filed under sci-fi are getting airtime now. The pitch: orbit compute racks in low Earth orbit, power them with near-constant solar, cool them using the cold of space, and beam data back via laser links. Media coverage this week nodded at logistical risks, but leaned on a single startup's claims, even though it's early and unproven hardware. The attraction is obvious: no neighbors, no land wars, and theoretically unlimited sunlight. The physics is the catch. Space is a vacuum, so you dump heat only by radiation. At room temperature, you're shedding a few hundred watts per square meter, which means megawatt-class compute needs football field radiators. Add latency: LEO is tens of milliseconds, GEO is hundreds. Radiation flipping bits, single event upsets, shielding mass, launch costs, debris risk, and tight downlink budgets, great for bursts, not for terabytes per second training streams. On Earth, this tells you the real game. Whoever controls cheap, reliable megawatts wins the next model cycle. Expect cloud giants to sign decade-long power deals, co-locate with dams and nuclear plants, resurrect industrial sites, and even drop pods underwater like Microsoft's Natick pilot to cut cooling and failure rates. Chips will flow to the campuses that can actually keep them fed and cooled. Utilities and regulators become kingmakers, shifting the bottleneck from software talent to substations, permits, and transmission. Real estate flips from office to compute industrial, with heat reuse into district systems and dedicated fiber spines. Capital that used to chase model tweaks now chases transformers, switchgear, and water rights. Here's the realization: AI's frontier is no longer measured in parameters. It's measured in megawatts. Software moats are turning into physical moats, and the space data center hype is the flare telling you the fight moved to metals, land, and electrons. If you're still thinking product features, you'll miss the companies quietly buying the grid beneath the internet. In the next 3 to 6 months, you'll see a flashy orbital compute demo, maybe a small node with laser downlink, but the real money will pile into terrestrial extremes: nuclear-adjacent campuses, retired industrial lots with fat interconnects, and cold water or underwater sites. Watch for new AI energy zones, multi-gigawatt PPAs, and utilities auctioning priority interconnect like scarce spectrum. Over 12 to 18 months, at least one major AI player takes equity in a power plant or SMR project, and heat reuse becomes a standard line item on data center pro formas. Orbital compute finds a niche: secure backup, time-insensitive workloads, disaster resilience, but high-density model training stays planet-side until radiator physics, launch cadence, and bandwidth change by orders of magnitude. If you want the next signal before it turns obvious, subscribe to Future Signals and watch the next breakdown.